But what a dominant quarter that was by the Sydney Swans. They lead by 18 points at quarter time. 22 inside 50s to 7, Duck. That we didn't see that coming.
No, we didn't. They're on top in all areas, Sydney, but it's a real merry-go-round for the Hawthorn defenders, isn't it? And what they're trying to do, Richo, is they're trying to isolate Cheney. Now, there were periods in that quarter where Cheney came up. He was on Goods, he was on Tippett, but they're trying to get Cheney deep and isolated.
Don't you think now they just have to settle on the matchups? Maybe Gibson to Franklin, show 'em makers on Tippett and just stay with them for the quarter.
That's exactly what I think they have to do, Richo. If they don't do that, I think that's what they'll do all game. They'll try to isolate Cheney. But it really is a case of, as you said, I think whether they come up through the midfield or not, back them with their endurance and say, you stay on them, and then if you get puffed, we'll go from there.
They didn't really help their defence out, though. They didn't get their hands on the footy in the middle first and foremost.
No, well, 21 inside 50s to 5 says the story, doesn't it?
Kennedy and Hanbury absolutely on fire. Both had over 10 disposals. The start of the game, you thought that Hanbury was the man that Langford should go to. Do they switch it around?
Well, as you said, Kennedy's still getting a bit of it. Maybe you let it go a little bit longer, but, geez, Hanbury's looking very dangerous, isn't he?
Certainly is.
Well, it's tough when you're the man they want to isolate, Tom.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they're looking for you.
I think the Hawthorn defence has to try and play in their defensive positions and take whatever players closest to that position. Otherwise, the Swans forward just keep moving them.
Agree with that, provided you've got enough confidence in a group that hasn't played together a hell of a lot. Kyle Cheney probably doesn't have the chemistry to make those moves himself just yet.
Swans by 18 points as we start the second term. In the back to Langford. No, gets to his feet. Surrounded by Swans. He's going nowhere.
You dived on it, failed to dispose of it.
Unfortunate there, I thought. Langford. Kennedy comes up, brandishing the football, goes down towards half forward. Telling kick to space. Storming up the ground is Franklin. Oh, gee whiz.
Contact.
Oh, he's in trouble, I think, there.
Ben, you go through.
Birchall very slow to get up.
Playing the free, Josh. Lance, you're right? Yeah. Okay.
And I think that Birchall knew he was coming. There was no doubt about that. But such is the way of modern footballers now. He was confident he could go down and get that ball.
Yeah, we need another look at that storyline in itself, I think.
Rioli over the football meantime. Richards bundled across the line. Well, he seems to go at this football with a lot of confidence, Birchall, just knowing that it shouldn't happen.
Sort of like the errant arm. I think that's the kind of thing that would be classified as sort of incidental, I would have thought.
Away from the congestion, Lewis to half forward.
Clever mark taken by Richards, not easy. A spiralling ball. He's a hard man, Birchall. That was a hard hit. Tough for Lewis. McGlynn spun out of it. Parker to Goods. It's looked lively, Goods. Neat-looking kick to half forward. Franklin couldn't quite get a run at it. Tippett can he release the handball? McVeigh just slipped away from him. He had 9 in the opening quarter. So Kennedy had 12, Hanbury had 15, and McVeigh had 9 in the opening term.
Just on the, we see here the Franklin Birchall one. The players, I'm sure, are aware if you elect to bump, you're in trouble. And he's gone the tackle there, Franklin. So tough one to adjudicate.
In fairness to Franklin, he's stumbled at the last moment too and sort of almost involuntarily gone into Birchall, although he was coming pretty quickly. Anyway, sorry.
Parker was a bit lucky there. He'd fended off and then been caught. Hill around the body. Rough head, almost. Free kick.
Push, rough head. Advantage taken.
Heard the ump, so Rioli. Sweet-looking kick. Hawthorn. One goal here would make things very interesting. Burgoyne, well, he wasted that one. He really does that. Malcheski. Laidler swings it back to Grundy. Now Grundy off a step. Careful kick, okay.
Laidler's got it now then. 32 plays 14. Birchall seems to be okay, and that's good news. Laidler goes to the outer side. Well-directed kick. Just inside the boundary. Only one man could get it. That was his teammate. And McVeigh did exactly that. He's been industrious. 10 possessions now for him. Some important players getting a lot of the ball for Sydney, including Derricks almost took the mark. Nicely done by Kennedy. Gets it across to McGlynn. Down to the 50. Buddy realises he's got space. Pulls it back on the volley, or the half volley rather. Down goes Tippett. Roughhead played it pretty well not to get in his back. Ball eventually gently rolls out. Hanbury Cunningham, Melcheski hammers it back towards Hanbury. Opportunity for Goods, overran the football. McVeigh, they're winning all these tight contests, and as a result, dangerous kick will provide a result. Parker's got it.
Mentioned that point that Hawthorn had the big win last week, and pretty almost training session second half. They're just the reflexes aren't sharp. It's amazing how you just can't. You're not necessarily ready when a team is as on as the Swans are.
And Parker slots a goal. They start the second term as they did the first.
It's a good goal kicker, Parker. He's kicked 8 goals in his last 5. His first shot tonight was into the man on the mark, so he's very careful there. So Sydney out to a 4-goal lead now. You feel like they've got that in a bit more in terms of play. They should be about 6 or 7 in front, so they need to make every post a winner. It sounds silly, I know, because you know that Hawthorn will come back. Birds kick inside the forward 50. Tippett's such a target. Langford very unlucky at the start of this quarter to be pinged. Cheney to Schoenmakers. Schoenmakers misses the target. Laidler, poor handball, look away. Giray back to Hill. You like the ball with Hill and Rioli at the moment for the Hawks. Hill's kick. Now this is an interesting one. Smith is so quick. If he can get away here, he'll test even the quick Jack. He overran it. Jack gets back. Good pressure from Smith. Jack and pull up. Oh, good.
Holding. 50 metres. Hawthorn. Yep. Paul Piot below 50 metres. And 50. Kicked it away after the second whistle. I blew the second whistle, and then you still kick the ball away. Hold the man. Clear hold.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I blew a second whistle, and you've still kicked the ball away.
How can I do this?
It looked a great contest, didn't it? It really did, and, well, the explanation's there.
No benefit of the doubt in the 50 metres, is there really, in that circumstance?
And Puopolo, well, he's been brought right up to about 15 metres out. And he'll kick it, and he does. So the Hawks get that one back in a hurry. It's the free kick, so hanging on, was it? Well, probably about half as much as Lewis Jenner in the first quarter, to be honest. And there's Horse. Look at this.
Yeah. The umpire said he blew the second whistle, and he didn't react to the second whistle. That was his, I guess, interpretation of the opportunity to stop.
So the margin back to 18, as it was at quarter time. Langford tackled by 3 Swans.
There's the change there, Dennis. It looks as if Langford's gone to Hanbury.
Is he coming back this way, fellas? Coming back this way.
He's halfway through the second quarter. He's going early in the second quarter.
Lewis, the third man up, didn't touch the football. Langford does, sends it inside the forward 50. Getting a fist on it, to no account really, was Smith. Well played by Grundy to Richards. He breaks away from right half back, comes up towards the wing. Reid worked in front, took the mark. Must have forgotten Swan tonight. He goes down towards half forward. In front, Franklin drops back though. Can he keep it in? He takes on the tackler. Birchall gets him across the boundary line.
High contact. High contact. Came back in with a high contact.
So Franklin's getting a free kick. Yes, runs away, opens up the angle, but again it's a wayward kick, and this time doesn't register a score. What did he? Gee. From my angle, it looked like it went out of bounds, but anyway, he's got 5 behinds now.
Needs to take the mark in the first place, Lance Franklin. The mark by Sam Reid was telling. If there's been a knock on Ryan Schoenmakers, it's been in that exact situation closer to goal, so needs to work on that, the one-on-one marking contest.
So bounces away from Franklin, gets it back. Handball not good. Cheney, Rioli, now Cyril on the burst. Brilliantly done, looks up, good looking kick and a 1 out. Gunston, Simpkin, Rampy taking Rioli on. Rioli brilliant to Hill. Hill comes around and kicks, not far enough in the end. Cut off by Richards. And then Richards to Rampy, and then Rampy off a step. Good kick, Parker. Good hands, Parker. Plays tall.
Comes back to the corridor, wishes he hadn't. Rioli gets on the end of it. Just loops it across to Birchall. Birchall, the hand pass. Here's Simpkin in space. Simpkin kicks towards open grass, and coming back, Hill gets there first. Well, suggests that Simpkin spotted him and demanded something of Hill. And Hill able to go and find the football low down. So again, a very important kick. They've all been that way for the Hawks tonight, trying to play catch up. Man on the mark is only about 25 metres out, if that. Just to pull the margin back to 13, and gee, he felt the pressure there. Lazy kick, not a good-looking kick at all. Misses to the right-hand side. So margin, generally the margin of choice tonight, at in points.
So a couple of behinds to Hill.
He's running at below 25% disposal efficiency at the moment, Hill.
So Grundy. Just the defensive kick, trying to get it as far as he can. Hale's been quiet. Derek's pretty good. Good contest again. Bird, who kicked a terrific goal in the opening term, goes for space. Jack's on the burst. Gets away from Stratton. Neat looking kick forward. Tippett, can he use McVeigh? It's a terrible handball. McVeigh back to Tippett. Good smother. Tippett needs to get it back, and he does. Kennedy hooking back, and, well, that sums up Sydney a bit tonight. They've had so many opportunities. Well, there you go. That might sum up Hawthorn tonight.
Sum the game up. So many opportunities. Hawthorn turnover, Sydney pressure. That's the game in a nutshell there.
He's unsophisticated Tippett, isn't he? I mean,
it's a skill execution. He only had to put the ball goal side of McVeigh, and it was a certain goal, but just didn't execute the handball well enough.
Twice we've seen that from both Tippett and Franklin, where they really should have just backed themselves in to kick the goal and have tried to involve their teammates.
So Hanbury just set it up.
Long towards the square. In from the side, almost Parker. Giray pokes it about a metre. Hallahan on his knees. McVeigh heard a voice, did nicely. Jack gets it across towards Goods, falling to the ground, but taken high was Tippett. And Tippett will get the free kick. Or will he?
Time back on that line, please, Kurt. Just a metre, Louis.
No doubt about that one. Right arm from Shildmakers.
He had the resignation of a man who'd given away a free kick, didn't he? Or perhaps he's just feeling the effects. He didn't move too much. He just was bowed over. So, should kick this. Moments ago, tried to set one up for McVeigh. I have to say Birchall was outstanding in that situation. Outnumbered. Constant pressure came from him. Forced the error eventually from the kicker Kennedy, but not long ago that happened. And Tippett gets...
Duck, how have you seen the return of Kurt Tippett?
Oh, when he's going for his marks, Tom, and really sticking them, and that's when he's most dangerous. And also, he's just competing well, isn't he? I mean, he made a handball error there, but other than that, he's been very good tonight.
McAvoy up high. McGlynn went without it, gets it back. Parker, good hands to Smith. Of course, Tippett's played one very famous game against Hawthorn, didn't he? When he was a Crow in the prelim final. Kick 4 that night. Hanbury on the up. McVeigh and Hanbury have been so good together, along with Kennedy. Coming in, back to Kennedy. Had to underscore it. Goods, that was so clever. Exactly he really worked that to Jack, and then Jack off a step to full forward and misses.
He's an intelligent player, Adam Goods.
Smart player, yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't surprise me at all, but his touch when he came back into the competition now 3 weeks ago has just been first class.
Suckling to bring it in.
Bring the ball in now, please, behind him, Josh.
Maple boots. Drives it outside the 50. Always capable of doing that. Knocked forward by Reid, but Hawks have got plenty of crummers around the football this time. Huopolo tried to give it across to Gunston. Sliding in McGlynn. Could have almost been in the back. McGlynn under roughhead, and the umpire calls for it.
Just at ground level, the Swans are just working harder at this moment. They've had an extra 40 uncontested possessions. That's on the back of getting numbers and just running harder.
Kennedy with strength extricates that footy, virtually hands it across to Richards. He had it stripped from behind by Bruce, but when it fell to the ground, Bruce let the tackle linger. So the kick will be taken by Reid, or rather Richards. Gives it across to Goods. Goods comes to Shaw. Shaw 70 metres out. On the lead is Goods. Or is it Franklin? It's Franklin who's taken the mark. Plenty of options. He's kicked 5 behind so far tonight.
I don't think he'd be feeling really good about his kicking action as he's going back. It's a question. Can he just focus in and ignore the fact that he's blown a few? The mental challenges.
He kicked 580 goals in 182 games for the Hawks. 5th all time from a player for one club and then going to a second club, and tonight he's got 6 behinds. Hangs it out to the left that time.
Remarkable. He started tonight 10 goals, 3 from set shots. He's missed 3 that are all very gettable, and a 4th actually, so from the pocket. So will it come back to bite them? McAvoy and Bruce made the contest. Langford out wide, gets to Puopolo. So Hawthorn sort of just hanging on at the moment. We don't say that about Hawthorn too often, do we? Schoenmakers off for step. It was a good kick, but it just took a while to get there. Now they might be right. Puopolo with a bit of a chaos ball, just trying to get it as far as he can. Grundy. Richards has mopped up very well tonight. Neat kick. It should sit for Hanbury. Well, clever enough to Bird. Bird back inside. Jetta, can he get on his bike? Gets it to Franklin. Tough handball to Shaw. Shaw to Bird. Bird gone. Not quite. Got a little bit of it, but they may pay for it. Burgoyne to Bruce. Bruce cut off by Richards. Well done, Simpkin. And Simpkin kicks a goal. His second.
This is the forward structure from the point from Buddy Franklin before. We're just seeing for the first time, I guess, the synergy between Kurt Tippett and Lance Franklin. Pushed back hard towards goal and then came up on the second one. So clearly a forward structure working for the Swans at the minute. Buddy just needs to kick his goals.
Swans by 20. That's a bad bounce. Derricks. He's been doing okay tonight. Won that one down. Butters up again. Langford tackled by 2 Swans. The margin was 18 at quarter time. Derricks and Hale. Falls at their feet. Kennedy trying to wrench it out of there. McGlynn comes across to Burgoyne. Hot football now. Hallahan does well. Heard a voice and feeds it back to Birchall. Bearing down was Jack. Shrugs free. Hand passes it forward. Burgoyne. Hallahan storms through the centre square. Bruce on the lead. Good footy. It was a hard ball, and that time Hawthorn prevailed. They had the appetite. Nice kick. So Bruce, who's been a star this season, comes in with 21 goals. 40 last year, 45 the season before, and he puts this one through. Luke Bruce, his first of the night, and the margin is back to 14.
The Hawks have kicked back-to-back goals for the whole night.
Only their 3rd inside 50 mark. The Swans have had 8. I mean, when the ball's in the air, in their forward line, the Swans are okay, but Hawthorn not good in the air down there, forward group.
Jim McGlynn picked that ball up very well. Belted away by Stratton to Reid. To Jack, put him under the pump actually, then Jack forced to squeeze. Schoenmakers, Franklin versus Schoenmakers, still with Schoenmakers, toe poking to Hill, held on to Jetta, getting around just with pace, straightening up, good dangerous kick. Cunningham, McGlynn tapping forward, back from Tippett. McGlynn misses. Well, he did such good work, McGlynn, and couldn't quite finish it. Tippett also with a little tap as well. Jetta's pace there just broke the line, didn't it?
But not kicking the goals, that's the most important part. Bruce, 6 goals. 12 now for the Swans.
Burgoyne drives it wide towards the outer side. One out contest out there. Forced to spoil was Rampy. Knocked it down in front. Finds his own ball. If there's going to be a free kick, the man who was just virtually standing watching them initially, Cheney, comes up with the ball.
There's a lot of stats in footy, but accuracy conversion, I reckon, is the most important of them all in terms of who wins and loses.
Here's Smith. Still inside his defensive 50. Takes off now, goes with his unpreferred side. Gunston juggles it back towards Smith. They collide. And there's going to be a free kick, and it will go to Gunston. So Gunston drives it out wide, getting away from his marker, Rioli. This could spell danger. Rioli keeps it low and firm. Langford couldn't hang on. Reaching in there, McGlynn trying to spin through his Hill. After the football, Kennedy bounces to his feet, feeds it across to McGlynn, knocked down by Hallahan, ball bouncing around in there. Well done by Lewis to Hale. Nicely done, Gunston. Hallahan, can he kick as well this time? Well, it found the target, but almost in and out of the hands of Roughhead. Taken away by Parker. Goes to the outer side and Jetta.
Gee, Ruffy, he looked like he'd stopped that dead in his tracks, that ball, didn't he? McGlynn So can Sydney take advantage of that one?
It was a really important contest in the middle, which Hawthorn prevailed in. They've certainly lifted their intensity around the contest at the minute.
Tippett and Cheney, and that one out on the fall against Tippett.
Yeah, was close, rough. I mean, the rule is going to control the footy. That's what the umpire has to decide. Not how long you held it, but did you actually control it? And
he controlled it.
Very close to it.
Yeah, it looked a mark.
Yeah.
So Cheney at half-back. It's been a good comeback by the Hawks. Derricks was the highest. Rioli. It's been really busy, Rioli. Good kick. They've been able to get it through the centre. Hallahan to Simpkins. Simpkins played an important role. And Ruffy's got that one. Well, no. Still not paid. Oh, yes, it is.
I thought that was going to be played. He controlled that one.
Yeah.
Starting to get the ball through the corridor now, Hawthorn as well, aren't they?
Yeah, winning the important one-on-ones, Bruce, and we know how good they are when they get the ball out in space. In that first quarter and a half, they just weren't able to get space. That's a really strong contested mark from Ruffy.
Coleman medalist in front of Franklin last year. Strong, missing, just shading it away. So it's a big let off for the Swans.
Richo, there's not a breeze down there. It looks pretty good, the conditions.
No, I don't think you can use that as an excuse. The conditions are very good down here, so it's just one of those nights at the moment for both teams.
Malcheski is very close to the boundary line, finds Shaw, plays on immediately, drives it up towards the wing. Goods being held. Gets the free kick, took the mark in any case. Being used sparingly tonight so far, Adam Goods. This is McVeigh, anything but, drives it inside the forward 50. Gibson's in front, juggles the mark. Tippett was bearing down, that kick intended for him. Gibson looks to the opposite pocket, and here's Hill with room to roam. Runs up towards the defensive 50, makes it awkward though. Giray, a left footer, sold into trouble, works his way out of it. On the move then is Lewis, and he takes the mark just inside the boundary. Hawthorn having a good session right here. Need to put it on the scoreboard. Goes along the line in turn, and Langford. It's been okay, Langford. Next link in the chain, pretty important. Coming to space is Gunston. Oh, kicks over his head. It's 2-on-1 as a result. And the man who stayed back, Richards, he was on Gunston. Took the mark. His hand pass no good. Gunston, a chance on his knees. Langford.
Langford switches wide to Hill. He'll take Bird on for pace, just as Jetta did at the other end. Kicks to the pocket. Not a good one. Richards, he's played well down back. Cuts it off. So Sydney in control for much of this first half, and yet now being challenged on the scoreboard. Just a couple of goals in it before half-time. Getting the ball out of the defensive area. Strong mark by Kennedy. Another terrific first half. Jetta, Hanbury, 15 disposals in the opening term. Franklin and Cheney. Well done that time, Cheney. Brings it to ground. Great tackle by Buddy. Gets down Giray. Sydney may get the loose ball. Stratton holds a couple up. Ball up. Franklin's hurt himself, I think, now, trying to pick himself up.
That fella's come back this way, come back this way.
His effort and energy's been, sometimes reckless, but
has hung around a couple of times. He's risking it.
Wasn't the replay I was expecting.
Hill around the outer side. No, there was a bloke that copped it. McAvoy goes up, takes the mark, plays onto Gunston. The Hawks with a real chance here. Vacant goal square, and he just misses. Rushed the post, the wrong side, but nevertheless, it was close.
You can see Buddy's right knee heavily strapped. That's the one he's having the issues with at the moment. I think he landed directly on it.
What about Josh Kennedy too? He's up to 20 possessions now. I said earlier, averages 27 against his old team over the 10 games he's played against them since coming to Sydney. That's quite remarkable. And he's on the best pace, I think, ever against the Hawks right here, looking down the barrel of 40 if this continues. Meantime, Reid sends a high ball towards the wing. Derricks growing in confidence in from the side. Eventually, though, Simpkin got it from Lewis. Smith's hand pass untidy. Soccering off the ground, Birchall. Now, leading back is Shaw. Picks it up, ran into a tackle. McAvoy was waiting. Simpkin didn't have it. And he'll get the free kick 55 metres out. Simpkin, or rather Bruce it is, who goes down towards the pocket. Thumped away by Jetta. But not far enough and not in the right direction. Hill stumbles in the pocket, loses the football.
Rampy just drops it down. Hill Back to Jeddah. A lot talked about the surface here, but a couple of players just finding it hard to keep their feet. Quick kick out from Malcheski. Birchall back to Burgoyne, back to Lewis. Lewis building a solid game. Almost cut off by Franklin, not quite. Smith goes back. Schoenmaker's off a step. Good kick. Hale. Well, they're right on top, Hawthorn.
Yep. Now they're undoubtedly back in the game in the general play, and inaccuracy by Swans has given them the opportunity actually to keep within touch.
So this could close it to 7 points after Sydney have led by 4 goals and a bit for a fair bit of the opening half. He's pretty reliable, Hale. Struck it well. It's a good goal. Coming back hard.
His first goal, his AFL goal for North Melbourne against Sydney, round 404, got 2 that day and has continued on his merry way. David Hale just picking up important goals, and that in this game, that last one, very important. They've really narrowed the margin. Stirring stuff out of the middle. It's Roughhead down towards half forward, arriving quickly. Puopolo, he was taken down strongly by Smith. Ball just rolls away from that pair. Others doing battle now. Rioli is in there working hard. Derricks is trying to pick it up. Hanbury trying to assist him. Simpkins hand pass knocked down by Roughhead. Taken by Shaw. Give it across to Parker. Kicks it out towards the wing. Duray circles the footy a little unconvincingly. Did well at the end though. McAvoy to Smith. We're down to 35 seconds. Sends it long down towards full forward. 3 Swans intent on destruction. And they get it out of bounds.
What they've done, the Swans, is they've evened up the possession tally for this quarter. The game's pretty simple at times. It's not necessarily the amount of possession, but controlling possession. And as Lee touched on, kicking accurately in front of goal.
It's been a terrific comeback. Roughhead just gets rid of Derricks and then wins the ball back. Bit of a sloppy handball. Cunningham held on to. Gets Hallahan down. Back to Burgoyne. Back to McAvoy. Burgoyne retreats to Cheney. Cheney shows a bit of ball to Franklin, then kicks the ball to about 55, 60 metres, belted away in a boundary throw-in. So very little time remaining. Sydney are going to lead at half-time, but I reckon Hawthorn are going to feel like they're right back on top in many ways. Franklin's 6 behinds in the opening term. 0-6, believe it or not. He's had a chance to kick 3 or 4 goals and really put a space between his new team and his old. And at half-time here, Burgoyne, gee, he did spy on it after the siren. And at half-time, Hawthorn closing the gap. Franklin, a lot of the ball, not a goal. 6 behind so far. But Sydney's just so much of the ball early. They had the big lead at quarter time. It was 4-8 to 2-2, and now 6-12 to 6-5. And it'll be interesting to see what Jared McVeigh says to Matthew Richardson. Matty?
Well, Jared, you probably feel like the scoreboard hasn't done you justice. It was a pretty good performance most of that half.
Yeah, pressure was good. We probably dropped off the end of that back of that quarter then. Our work rate, dropped off a tad, and then they hurt you. So we're going to kick the goals ourselves as well. We would have been a lot further in front.
You did have an advantage on the outside for most of the half. Good time now to reset and focus on that again.
Yeah, definitely catch our breath and just work on that pressure. Want them kicking high balls in, then try and work them the other way and hurt them.
You're looking to isolate your key forwards. It was a real advantage in that half.
Yeah, it's important they do that. So Gibson doesn't lay off, Birchall and those types. So if they can get, a one-on-one, we'll back him in every day of the week.
Good luck in this second half.
Thanks, mate.